Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we continue making a case for each and every Primarch being the greatest, with the time of the Wolf King Leman Russ. A general spoiler warning to begin, as today we will be referencing events from across the Warhammer 40k universe. So you have been warned, and with that said, let's waste no time and just jump straight in. I do feel like I've got a bit of a hint of a sore throat coming on today, so I apologise if my voice breaks once or twice as we go ahead. Okay, I'm not going to deny it. This is one I've been looking forward to. The greatness of Leman Russ. Where to begin? For me, the logical place is his role for the Emperor, the police force and executioner amongst the legions. This is a role that Russ was intended for, created for, alone. As such, he possesses a loyalty that is beyond question to the Emperor. From the master of mankind's own words, Russ is true-hearted, one of the few I know will never fall. It's simply an impossibility, a certainty to the Emperor that no matter what, he can always count on Russ. And that's a quality and factor that is beyond measure, better than any skill or talent that Russ might possess. A simple, complete and utter trust. But of course, those skills and talents undoubtedly come into play for Russ within his role as well. We know he is an absolute top-tier warrior. He wears the facade of a savage barbarian, but in reality beneath, he is a calculating and cunning mind. The mask raised and lowered on a whim. He defeated Magnus the Red upon Prospero, when Magnus was unquestionably within his prime, blinding the Cyclops and shattering his back. And he went toe-to-toe with a traitor Warmaster, when Horus was already becoming influenced by the ruinous powers. No, Horus wasn't what he would become when he met the Emperor, but he was still very much beyond the Horus of old, and Russ had him beat. He knew his duty, his responsibility to his father. He knew the odds were vastly against him, but he backed himself, and he had him beat. Russ led his legion on a suicidal charge into the full force of the Sons of Horus fleet, boarded the vengeful spirit, and fought his way through its corridors, all the while ensuring he was clearing a path for a retreat, not for himself, but for his sons. And in the titanic encounter against Horus, he would intentionally take a blow from Horus's fabled talon to allow the opening he needed to plunge the Emperor's spear into the Warmaster's torso. Yet as Horus fell to his knees before him, rather than end his traitor brother, he appealed to him, pleaded for his brother to return to Terra with him, where their father could heal him of this sickness. And far from this decision being a weakness of the Wolf King, for me it makes him all the greater, revealing the truth of the man within, the reality of why Russ does what he does, the care he truly has within for his kin. But that's two victories over not only two vastly different Primarchs, but also two of undoubtedly the most powerful two, each in their own way. And you could argue the Knight of the Wolf against it, his conflict against Angron and the World Eaters. However, for me, it was clearly Russ trying to impart a lesson to his brother. The cost of his fury, his rage. Clearly not Russ trying to actually kill him, as Lorgar himself would state within Betrayer. That may be the most comprehensive moment of outmaneuvering in the history of the Legiones Astartes. It's almost poetic in its elegance and emotional resonance. He proves his son's loyalty, while yours leave you to die. He proves the damage the nails are doing to your legion. He proves the tactical strength of taking an objective rather than fighting purely to kill. He spares your life in the hope you'll see all of this in a lesson it cost him heavily to teach you, and your reaction is to grin and claim yourself the victor. This was actually the perfect example of another of Russ's great talents, his adaptability. Though Russ is careful to portray the image of a mindless barbarian, he actually caters his approach as needed. Against Angron, he showed perfectly how easily Angron could be outmaneuvered, revealing him surrounded at gunpoint by the end of their duel. And for all of Russ's skill with a blade, I actually think it's that adaptability that is his greatest asset. Against Magnus, we saw the strength of the wolves unleashed. Russ in full warrior mode as he knew he'd have to take out Magnus at some point, relying on the advantage of his brute brawler strength. And we saw the strong psychic power that Russ possesses in his own way, the effect of his wolf howl within the Immaterium, blinding and overpowering the thousand suns around him, along with the runic ways of Fenris, all part of the reason I've always felt Russ and the Space Wolves are a strong anti-psyker force. Against Horus, we saw how Russ knew the rest of the conflict was irrelevant, again keeping the path of retreat open for his legion, the outcome entirely focused on him taking on the War Master. And here, it was more his skill in combat than a brawl. And then again with Angron, the true battle was the legions, Russ using the duel with Angron as a distraction. It's really this adaptability in his nature that for me makes Russ the perfect executioner, able to cater his response and tactics accordingly. The Emperor wouldn't have an executioner, a legion dedicated to taking out all the others, if it wasn't able to do so against all of them. And that includes Leman Russ himself, most of all. And let's not forget, though it will eternally be kept a mystery, it's highly teased throughout the years of the heresy that Russ took out the two lost Primarchs as well. We don't know if he killed them himself, or if he brought them to the Emperor, but it's pretty clear to be two more Primarch and Legion victories to his tally. You add that to the Magnus and Horus conflict, even Angron from my perspective, well, that's a record no one can come close to. So we have a Primarch who the Emperor has complete and utter faith in, no matter what, who even let him leave Terra to go and face a chaos-corrupted War Master, and who he appears to have relied on again after the heresy, with the reason for Russ's departure. We've got a Primarch who is an elite warrior, capable of going toe-to-toe with the best of his brothers. A Primarch who is adaptable enough to know when he has to change his approach, and how to do so. And a Primarch who has a record of taking out other Primarchs and legions. You want to talk of the greatest Primarch? Well, you want to talk of the Lord of Winter and War, Leman of the Russ. But as always everyone, what do you think? Does Leman Russ's record speak for itself? Like me, do you feel it's his adaptability that is his strongest asset? Or does it always come down to skill with a blade? Is Russ the perfect combination of warrior and calculating mind? And does the Emperor's unbreakable faith mean anything in this regard? Or if you feel Russ isn't the greatest, why not? As always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.